Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here. I was ready before. I'm ready now, but even more ready now. We just heard from the Minister of Industry from Indonesia, some wise words. And I'm actually going to begin by quoting something, I don't think he'll mind, that his president, President Prabowo, just said in the plenary. And he noted that growth that excludes is growth that divides. He continued, division causes instability, and instability is not conducive to peace and prosperity. And we're here, of course, for peace and prosperity. The spirit of partnership and shared growth is what brings us together at the APEC Summit, a forum to strengthen and deepen cooperation in the world's most dynamic region in order for growth to benefit all of our peoples. And that's why 35 years ago, Canada became one of the founding members of APEC. We joined for the same reason that I and we are here now, because we believe deeply, deeply, and consistently in what APEC stands for: shared prosperity, grounded in rules-based trade and international cooperation. At that first APEC meeting in 1993, first meeting of APEC leaders then, it was more or less in the immediate aftermath of the Cold War, and nations recognized that by working together, they could build a new foundation for growth across the Asia-Pacific, one that could harness the region's energy, strengthen cooperation, and expand that prosperity for all. That was a hinge moment. That was a choice. That was a choice that those leaders took. And today, we're facing another hinge moment in history. Our world is undergoing one of the most profound shifts since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And that old world, the world in which APEC prospered, but also helped to foster, that old world of steady expansion of rules-based liberalized trade and investment, a world on which so much of our nation's prosperity, very much Canada's included, that world is gone. I think we have to be clear-eyed about that reality, because nostalgia is not a strategy, and clinging to the past also ignores the scale of what's happening in parallel to these geopolitical changes, which is the scale of technological changes that are underway in life sciences, in the energy transition, and of course, most fundamentally, in artificial intelligence. So what comes next? What comes next is ours to build, and I mean very much you here, governments, labor, citizens. At the core of this will be a partnership, a new partnership between government and business in service of our fellow citizens. Now, I'm going to say a few words about Canada's role in that. We are a young nation, certainly compared to our hosts, Korea, our incredible hosts, Korea. This is an extraordinary event. This is an extraordinary event. The APEC Leaders event is remarkable. But we are as ambitious, as pragmatic, and we will be as relentless in the pursuit of new partnerships to unlock new markets and to catalyze unprecedented levels for Canada of new investment. We want to build big things with nations and companies who share our ambition and our belief that we are stronger together. So our government is charting a new course with an ambitious mission to double our non-US exports over the course of the next decade. And we're already making significant progress. In the past few months, we've signed new agreements with the UAE in artificial intelligence infrastructure, with the European Union in defense and trade, with Germany in critical minerals. Earlier this week in Kuala Lumpur, we agreed with the ASEAN nations to intensify and finalize the discussions for the Canada-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement next year. We're launching new bilateral free trade agreement talks with the Philippines and Thailand, which again we plan to complete over the course of the next year. And we join others from the region and the EU in advocating a new bridge to be built between CPTPP and the European Union in order to widen the field for rules-based trade and to promote strong, sustainable, and balanced growth. Yesterday, I met with the President of Korea, and we agreed to announce a new Canada-Republic of Korea Security and Defense Cooperation Partnership, the first of its kind for Canada and the Indo-Pacific. This is cooperation on security, defense, and also cooperation in the emerging domains of cyber, space, and hybrid threats. We'll also deepen our economic cooperation from energy to AI. And Canada is well positioned to deliver on all of these agreements because we have much of what the world wants. We are an energy superpower with the third largest reserves of oil and the fourth largest reserves of natural gas. This past June, we shipped our first major LNG exports to Asia. We're making major investments in streamlining approvals, so we're going to scale up quickly. By 2030, Canada will produce 50 million tons of LNG each year, all destined for Asian markets. By 2040, we will double that amount, at least. Domestically, we have an electricity grid that is 85% clean energy, and we have plans to increase that by 50%, including through new nuclear, both utility scale and the world's first commercial SMRs. This will power clean manufacturing, AI and intelligence infrastructure, and the electrification of our sustainable economy. Moving further up the supply chain, we're amongst the top 5 producers of 10 critical minerals essential for the energy transition, amongst other applications. So we're fast-tracking new mines and producing to meet demands. We just made announcements. Well, I'll get my time zone right. I'm going to front-run my Minister of Natural Resources now. We're about to make announcements in Toronto at the G7 Plus Energy Summit, Critical Minerals Summit, of over 20 new investments, deals in critical minerals, totaling almost $2 billion of support, and that's just the start. Canada is positioned to be amongst the global leaders in clean technology, artificial intelligence, life sciences, and quantum computing, backed by more than 2 million STEM graduates driving innovation every day, the most educated workforce in the world per capita, and financed by deep expertise and capabilities in financial services. I'll mention 2 aspects of that. First, in our mining sector, 40% of all listed mining companies in the world are listed in Canada. And our pension funds are amongst the largest in the world, controlling $3 trillion of capital, already major infrastructure investors across the APEC economies. With the strongest balance sheet and the best tax treatment for new investment in the G7, and trade agreements spanning 1.5 billion consumers from the EU to CPTPP, we're mobilizing $1 trillion of generational investments over the next 5 years in Canada, in our ports, in our energy and systems, in our digital infrastructure that will power our future. Now, part of our core offering, part of our core foundation for these investments is to provide you and investors and business people the certainty and reliability that you crave and deserve. You crave in an uncertain world, you deserve at all times. And part of our offering is to live the values of sustainability and inclusivity to which the world aspires. You all know that certainty is the greatest currency in commerce. And that certainty comes not only from agreements, but also from trust. From partners who don't just respect the letter, but the spirit and the values behind agreements. That's Canada. Canada is ready, as a member of APEC, to build the new architecture for trade and investment. Canada is ready and eager to build with you. Come build with us. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.